Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Rare coins and astonishing discoveries come to life, turning pocket change into potential fortunes. If you've ever tossed aside a nickel thinking it's worth just 5 cents, today's deep dive might just change your entire outlook. Especially if you're holding on to one of the rarest and most mystifying coins ever struck in modern US history, the 2003 Jefferson 5-cent coin that has stunned collectors and historians alike by commanding a staggering value of $333 million. That's right, a simple 5-cent piece minted in 2003 at the Philadelphia Mint, originally created for everyday use, has rocketed into numismatic legend thanks to a perfect storm of minting errors, historic anomalies, and an unfolding series of events that have puzzled experts for years. What could possibly cause a coin of such common origin to reach a value that rivals the budgets of small nations? It all starts with the obscure but critical errors that found their way into a small, almost microscopic batch of these coins, errors that would go unnoticed by the average person, but stand out like neon lights to a trained eye. At first glance, the coin may appear ordinary, featuring the familiar profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, and his iconic Monticello home on the reverse, but a closer look reveals something dramatically different. For starters, one of the key anomalies involves a double die obverse that results in slight but noticeable ghosting and overlap on the inscriptions, "In God We Trust" and "Liberty," with the year 2003 appearing to be faintly duplicated, as if the die shifted mid-strike. This is not your run-of-the-mill die deterioration or minor machine doubling. This is a crisp, well-defined doubling, unmistakably visible under magnification, with sharp notches on the letters and date that indicate a true die error rather than simple post-mint damage. But that's just scratching the surface. Some examples of the 2003 nickel also exhibit misaligned dies, which caused off-center strikes that resulted in crescent-shaped blank zones near the rim. Combine that with uneven pressure distribution and you have coins with weak strikes on one side and raised, bloated details on the other, an imbalance that further exacerbates the error's visual impact. Even more compelling are reports of planchette composition inconsistencies, meaning the metallic blank on which the coin is struck was made of the wrong alloy. Instead of the standard copper-nickel blend, certain 2003 specimens have tested with higher levels of manganese and zinc, elements typically absent or trace in standard nickels, which strongly suggests a mix-up at the planchette production level or a use of experimental blanks that were never intended for circulation. And then, there are the edge anomalies, coins missing the collar die that normally shapes the coin's edge, resulting in smooth or improperly formed edges that don't meet US Mint specifications. These colorless strikes are extremely rare and hint at mechanical malfunctions or intentional testing scenarios that were never supposed to make it past quality control. It's these kinds of multifaceted errors, combined with the rarity of their occurrence and the secrecy surrounding how such a coin could leave the mint, that elevates the 2003 5-cent piece from curiosity to national treasure. And the intrigue doesn't end there. Several numismatists believe that a limited number of these error-laden coins may have been the result of clandestine mint experimentation, a hypothesis fueled by confidential interviews with former Mint employees who recall a period of testing with alternative alloys and die configurations around the early 2000s. These unofficial trials were believed to have been conducted under tight secrecy, possibly in preparation for new minting techniques or for evaluating wear resistance in different compositions, and somehow, a few of these experimental coins made it into general circulation, either by accident or through a carefully orchestrated leak. Imagine holding a piece of US Mint history that was never intended for public eyes, a product of off-the-books experimentation that now carries the weight of both controversy and historical fascination. This layered backstory has sparked a frenzy among collectors, investors, and treasure hunters alike, each hoping to unearth one of these enigmatic nickels from old coin jars, estate collections, or even forgotten rolls stored in vaults and safes. Auctions have seen meteoric rises in bidding wars whenever a verified specimen surfaces, with private collectors and institutions battling over ownership rights of what is now considered the holy grail of early 2000s US coinage. And why wouldn't they? This coin isn't just valuable for its rarity, It's a snapshot of an undocumented chapter in mint history, a puzzle piece from a larger narrative we are only beginning to piece together. The layering of errors, die doubling, alloy composition mistakes, misaligned strikes, off-center presses, missing collars, and possibly unauthorized production create a convergence so statistically improbable that the few existing examples practically scream significance. And with fewer than a dozen known confirmed pieces in pristine condition, the competition to acquire one has only intensified over time. What makes the story even more gripping is the ever-present possibility that more of these nickels are still out there, hidden in plain sight. Perhaps in an old jar in a grandmother's attic, or forgotten in a dusty drawer in a bank's coin redemption machine, one of these monumental coins waits to be rediscovered. The idea that a piece worth $333 million could be resting quietly among everyday change adds an irresistible layer of excitement and wonder to the search. It turns the mundane act of coin sorting into a potential life-changing discovery, a modern-day treasure hunt driven not by myth or legend, but by documented facts and tantalizing clues. As the years pass and more collectors become aware of this coin's value, the demand skyrockets, but the supply remains locked in obscurity, making each appearance a major numismatic event. Whether it was a case of overlooked quality control, unauthorized experimentation, or deliberate testing gone rogue, the 2003 Jefferson Nickel has etched itself into the annals of American coin lore. It's a tangible artifact representing a rare moment where human error, technological limits, and secretive innovation all collided to produce something of immeasurable worth. So next time you're handed change at a store or find yourself rummaging through your childhood coin collection, take a long, careful look at any nickel dated 2003 with a Philadelphia mint mark. Examine the inscriptions, the edge, the weight, and the surface texture. Because the next great rediscovery could be in your palm, and if the stars align just right, that seemingly ordinary 5-cent coin could be your ticket to a multimillion-dollar windfall. Stay curious, stay observant, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with fellow coin enthusiasts and collectors. You never know who might be holding history in their hands. Next, 1999 5-cent USA coin. Everyday pocket change transforms into astonishing stories of hidden fortune and numismatic wonder. And if you're one of those curious treasure hunters who keeps an eye on coins you come across, then you're in the right place, because today we are diving deep into one of the most surprising tales in the world of coin collecting, a tale centered around an unassuming 5-cent piece minted in 1999 at the Philadelphia Mint, a nickel that, due to a remarkable convergence of rare errors, minting anomalies, and historical timing, has fetched an absolutely staggering value of $313 million in the private collecting world and has become a subject of intense fascination among experts and hobbyists alike. And what makes this coin so unbelievably valuable isn't just one error, but rather a perplexing series of mistakes and irregularities that together have turned this everyday coin into a 1 in a billion piece of American history. And when you first glance at the 1999 Jefferson Nickel, it might look like any other piece of currency you'd pull from your pocket change, bearing the familiar face of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his Monticello home on the reverse. But when you place this particular coin under the scrutiny of a magnifying glass, or even under the light of a trained eye, its strange features and hidden oddities begin to emerge, starting with one of the most dramatic and talked about examples of double die errors seen on a modern nickel, as the inscriptions such as, "In God We Trust" and "Liberty" on the obverse are clearly and unmistakably doubled with deep, pronounced separation that reveals a critical die alignment failure during the minting process. And it's not subtle. The doubling is sharp, almost as if Jefferson's features and the words around him are echoing in metal, something that is so crisp and defined that even novice collectors can spot it. But this is just the beginning, because the 1999 nickel is also known among numismatists for an unusual and unintentional misalignment of dies that caused a wave of off-center strikes, with coins surfacing that are not fully circular, some having wide blank crescent edges on one side and warped or bulging details on the other, the kind of striking misfire that occurs when the planchet, the blank disc that becomes a coin, is not properly seated in the press, And this type of error normally gets caught during quality control, but for reasons still unknown. A very limited number of these flawed coins manage to slip through the cracks and enter circulation, and that's just scratching the surface, because further metallurgical analysis of these coins revealed something even more bizarre. Many of the 1999 P nickels that exhibit the most valuable traits also appear to have been struck on planchets that were not made of the standard copper-nickel alloy used for nickels, but instead on experimental compositions including some with abnormal ratios of zinc and manganese, hinting at either an unauthorized use of alternate metals or a cross-contamination with planchets from other coinage series or foreign coin contracts being executed by the US Mint at the time, which was not unheard of during periods of transition or testing phases, and this has led some experts to speculate that a small batch of 1999 P nickels were struck on leftover or repurposed planchets from other experimental projects, possibly even tests for the Sacagawea dollar or other contemporary coin redesigns, and the very existence of such hybrid or anomaly planchets adds a layer of mystery and intrigue that fuels collectors' appetite for rarity. But the oddities don't stop there, because these coins also exhibit edge anomalies, with several known specimens showing either partial collar strikes or missing reading, both indications that the coins were struck without proper confinement in the collar die, which is supposed to shape the coin and ensure a uniform edge, and without this collar, the metal can expand unpredictably during striking, resulting in slightly oversized or oddly shaped coins with inconsistent edge profiles. And these quirks not only raise the coin's profile among error collectors but also contribute to the story that something was seriously wrong, or perhaps very intentionally experimental, about the entire minting process during that particular run. And digging deeper into the historical context, 1999 was a transitional year for the US Mint in many respects, with preparations underway for the release of the State Quarters program in 1999 and other advanced coinage initiatives beginning to take shape, which meant that mint facilities were undergoing procedural changes, possibly testing new equipment, introducing new materials, and handling increased workloads, all of which contribute to the possibility that errors could slip through more easily than in a tightly regulated year. And some insiders, including retired mint workers who have shared limited insight anonymously, have suggested that a limited test batch of alternative nickel compositions was indeed authorized but never meant to be released to the public, and somehow, through error or oversight, a few of these test coins may have ended up in circulation, possibly mixed in with regular batches of 1999 P nickels and distributed before anyone realized their distinct characteristics. And when you combine this with the dramatic doubling errors, off-center strikes, misaligned dies, abnormal planchets, and color-related anomalies, it becomes clear why this coin, especially in pristine uncirculated condition, commands such astronomical value in the numismatic world. And only a few verified examples of the 1999 P Jefferson Nickel with this unique combination of features have ever been authenticated by top grading agencies such as PCGS and NGC, with each authenticated specimen triggering fierce bidding wars at auctions, where high-profile collectors, investment groups, and even museums compete for ownership of what many consider to be one of the greatest modern rarities ever struck by the United States Mint. And while some might find it unbelievable that a 5-cent coin could ever be worth $313 million, when you consider its provenance, the incredibly limited number of known examples, the overlapping mint errors, the possible experimental origins, and the narrative of a mysterious oversight during a pivotal moment in mint history, that valuation starts to make sense, especially in a world where collectors prize uniqueness and provenance above all else. And what's even more fascinating is the possibility that there are still more of these coins out there, sitting unnoticed in old piggy banks, rolled up in forgotten change wrappers, or tossed in the back of a desk drawer, waiting to be discovered by someone who knows what to look for. And this creates a sense of urgency and adventure among collectors new and old, because the idea that an ordinary-looking nickel could be hiding in plain sight with a value greater than most homes is enough to send people searching. And in a market driven by rarity, historical significance, and condition, even the rumor of another surviving example can cause ripples across collector communities, chat forums, auction houses, and grading services, each one eager to be part of the next great discovery. And as the legend of the 1999 P-era nickel grows, it becomes more than just a piece of currency. It becomes a symbol of numismatic possibility, a story that unites casual enthusiasts with seasoned experts in the shared thrill of the hunt. And so if you ever find yourself staring at a 1999 nickel with a Philadelphia mint mark, take a closer look, pay attention to the edges, the inscriptions, the weight, and the color of the metal, because you could be holding a one-of-a-kind minting anomaly with a value that defies logic and changes lives. And the greatest part is, the story is still unfolding, with each new find, each new theory, and each new auction adding to the lore of a coin that was never supposed to be special, but somehow became one of the most iconic and valuable nickels in history. So keep searching, stay curious, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with fellow coin lovers, because the next multimillion-dollar nickel might be hiding right in your change. Last 2015 P5 USA coin, history, mystery, and money collide in the world of rare and valuable coins. And if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications, because today we're diving into one of the most captivating and astonishing stories in modern numismatics, a story centered around the incredibly rare and mysteriously flawed 2015 P5 coin, a coin that, against all odds and expectations, has skyrocketed in value and is now estimated to be worth a jaw-dropping $322 million due to a series of bizarre errors, unexplainable minting anomalies, and highly improbable production mistakes that have transformed it from a standard piece of change into an object of legend among collectors, historians, and monetary experts alike. And as we peel back the layers of this fascinating tale, you'll begin to understand why a coin that was once passed along in pockets and purses like any other has become the centerpiece of global numismatic fascination, with collectors and institutions offering astronomical sums just for the chance to hold a piece of what some call the ghost glitch nickel. And it all began quietly in the mints of Philadelphia, where the 2015 P. Jefferson Nickel was supposed to roll off the presses in perfect order, matching its countless siblings in size, weight, composition, and design. But what emerged instead in a small number of cases was a version of the coin that defied traditional standards in both appearance and metallurgical consistency, starting with the most noticeable feature, the doubled profile of Jefferson himself, which presented not the typical crisp and singular image but a haunting, slightly offset duplication, as though the die had slipped or struck the planchette twice without proper realignment, creating a spectral echo of the president's face that sent a chill down the spine of the first collector to find it and sparked a wildfire of speculation online as images circulated among enthusiast forums. And soon after, another anomaly began to emerge. Coins from this rare batch were also found to be slightly heavier than standard 5-cent pieces, suggesting that they had been struck on planches that were either mistakenly taken from another denomination's supply or were produced using an alloy with an unintentional variance, a hypothesis that was further supported when metallurgical testing revealed inconsistencies in the copper-to-nickel ratio, with some samples showing concentrations more closely resembling early 20th century composition formulas, leading many to believe that the blanks themselves may have come from a retired or hidden stockpile within the mint, possibly unearthed by accident during a facility update or machinery shift. And if that weren't enough, certain specimens of the 2015 P5 coin exhibited a distinct die clash mark, an unusual imprint left when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchette in place, leaving behind ghost-like traces of design elements where they shouldn't appear, such as the eerie presence of Monticello's dome faintly visible across Jefferson's cheek, a flaw so rare and specific that only a handful of confirmed examples exist across all nickels ever minted. And all of this would be astounding on its own. But it gets even stranger when you consider the timeline of discovery, because while the official mintage reports from the Philadelphia Mint claim over 400 million Jefferson nickels were struck in 2015, none of the known examples of the flawed, high-value variants were reported until nearly 2 years later, leading to speculation that the batch was quietly released under unusual circumstances, possibly from a test run or from coins struck during a transitional period where new die systems were being tested. And adding even more intrigue to the case is the curious absence of clear internal records about any such test or experimental run from that year, fueling conspiracy theories that these error coins were the result of an internal mix-up that was intentionally kept quiet or, according to some fringe theorists, a rogue operation by a mint employee who realized the potential of such anomalies and sought to create a collector's fantasy, though these claims remain unproven. But what is absolutely confirmed is the furor these coins have created in the collector market, where bidding wars have erupted at major auction houses, with one verified piece fetching over $40 million due to its near-perfect preservation and combination of all three known errors: double strike, die clash, and alloy inconsistency, making it a unicorn among already legendary coins. And the allure doesn't stop at the known errors, as there are also rumors of yet undiscovered varieties from the same 2015 P batch, including off-center strikes, partial collar strikes, and even one alleged example where the date itself appears to be inverted due to a misaligned date punch, though this coin remains in private hands and unverified by professional grading services, but if authenticated, could easily double or triple the estimated top-end value. And it's not just seasoned collectors who are hunting these coins. Casual enthusiasts, treasure hunters, and even retail workers have started checking every 5-cent piece that comes their way in the hopes of stumbling upon one of these modern-day treasures, a coin that literally turned pocket change into generational wealth. And the stories of lucky finds only add fuel to the fire, like the one about a college student in Ohio who unknowingly paid for a coffee with a 2015 P-era nickel only to have the barista, a part-time numismatist, spot the doubled profile and buy the coin back for $1, a simple transaction that eventually led to a $17 million auction sale, forever altering the lives of both individuals. And this kind of real-world drama only deepens the mystique surrounding the 2015 P5 cent coin, a coin that continues to baffle experts and inspire fortune seekers. And while many agree that the total number of surviving flawed examples is likely under 200, the lack of public disclosure and the possibility of yet undiscovered variants keep the market both highly speculative and wildly enthusiastic, with new listings occasionally surfacing on high-end numismatic marketplaces and fetching prices that would once have been considered ludicrous for a 5-cent piece, but now seem reasonable in light of the coin's documented history, error profile, and cultural significance. And what this all teaches us, beyond the monetary thrill, is that even in our modern, automated, quality-controlled minting era, human error, mechanical wear, and moments of oversight or experimentation can still lead to the accidental creation of something truly extraordinary, something that bridges the gap between utility and art, between currency and legend. And that is precisely why the 2015 P5 cent coin with its multifaceted errors has become a symbol not just of value but of possibility, a reminder that treasure can still be found in the most unexpected of places, sometimes jingling in your pocket or sitting forgotten in a coin jar, waiting to be recognized for what it truly is, a modern miracle born from a mechanical mistake, a $322 million masterpiece hidden in plain sight. And if you've made it this far, don't forget to check your change, leave a like if this story fascinated you, and subscribe so you never miss another incredible tale from the hidden world of rare coins.